We're going to recap what we have talked about so far and then deduce the process for session hijacking. We have already talked about the steps, but we are going to list them one by one. The first step is the session hijacking process, and it is to find a destination client. Then identify a potential victim so that the target can be attacked, and place yourself between the target and the victim so you can sniff data. An attacker looks for systems that have an abnormal state of usage. It could be a high volume system so that the attacker is not easily identified. The attacker also looks for clients that use insecure network protocols such as Telnet, FTP, and remote login. You can employ packet sniffing to look at a packet movement. You can employ port scanning techniques to identify servers that have ports open to allow FTP, Telnet, and remote logins.
That's right, Lauren. And then, once you place yourself between the victim and the target, you can monitor the traffic. You can try to understand the packets that are exchanged and the sequence numbers used. Based on the patterns, you can see how many may generate a sequence number. Now, once you know how to do this, the next step is to desynchronize the session. And this can be done by doing something so that the sequence numbers received by the victim or target are out of sync. You can do this by sending null packets to the server so that the SEQ and ACK will advance, but without making the victim aware of this. And when the victim does not know about the increments in SEQ and ACK numbers, then the victim and target are out of sync or desynchronized.
Right. Instead of sending null data, you can also send a reset flag to terminate the connection from the server side and create a new one with a different sequence number. You can use a fin flag to achieve this. An attacker places himself or herself between the target and the victim, observes the traffic flow, like Emma said earlier, and then desynchronizes the victim and the target. Then the attacker can take over the session by predicting the session ID sequence number.
So, here's a question. Will the attacker be able to inject data without taking control of the session? Yes, he will. Once the attacker takes over the session, he can inject data packets into the server. The attacker can act as a man in the middle and then pass data between the target and the victim. He can also inject his own data.
Correct.